Thanks for tuning in. Here is what you're going to get out of today's episode. I sat down with Ashley McQueen and we talked about all things PCOS, infertility, baking, life and death, and of course the gym. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire episode so you can catch all the details. Thanks to our sponsor, Maximus Nutrition. Are you ready to elevate your workout or exercise performances? Hop on over to their two locations. There is one on Sunset Drive. The other is over on Knickerbocker for all of your top tier supplement and protein needs. Hello. Welcome back to Everything and the Gym. Special shout out to our sponsors, TFGU, Orange Theory, and if you are looking for any kind of protein, make sure you hit up Maximus. They have 3 different locations. All right. And our special guest today is, what is your name?
My name is Ashley McQueen.
I love watching you in the gym. I have to tell you that.
Thank
you are an inspiration with how much you're able to lift. I tell you all the time, I'm chasing you.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're kicking butt too. I've seen you over there, pushing your limits too. So
yeah,
I appreciate it though.
Yeah. How old are you?
I am 35 years young.
And what do you do?
Yeah, so I work full-time remotely from home, and I work in HR and recruiting. So I work for a mattress manufacturer, so I oversee 19 manufacturing plants nationwide. So I stay very, very busy, but I work in recruiting, and I've done that for, 5 years now. And before that, I was an area director for a mattress retailer. So I've been in the mattress industry, which I know is not like the sexiest industry to be in. I mean, I guess it could be sexy, but it's a mattress, right? For almost 15 years. So I just kind of stumbled upon it. But yeah, I work in HR now. So
have you always lived in San Angelo?
I have not. No, I'm actually born and raised in California, Northern California. So I don't surf. I didn't live by the beach. I lived in San Diego for a little bit, but Northern California, so by the mountains. So the thing I miss the most here in Texas is I don't have mountains and great big trees, but I relocated from California, Sacramento area to San Marcos, Texas back in 2015 for work. I transferred. I got an area director position there in San Marcos, and so I picked up and moved. Funny story is I've always wanted to live in Texas. I grew up telling my mom, I'm going to go to Texas State. I'm going to go to college there. And my mom highly discouraged me moving away from home for school. So I just didn't go. But I always had this weird desire to be in Texas. I felt like I was a Texan born in California. And so moved here and then ended up getting an HR position out of our California business, same company, but they moved me back to California, and I could not wait to get back to Texas. So,
really?
Yeah, I ended up moving back to Texas in Waco in 2021, and I lived there for 8 months, and then moved here to San Angelo.
Why San Angelo?
So, so my husband had gotten a job out of the plant here in San Angelo, and no one wanted to live in San Angelo, so they just couldn't fill the position. And we had just moved to Waco, and he was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to swing it. I'm not going to be able to convince her to move again. I had just built friendships and connections, and he's like, I can't rip that all from her all over again. And because we had moved to Waco for his job as well, and he asked me about it, and I was like, look, you dropped everything for me when I wanted to move to Texas. I guess wherever we're going to go. We have no kids, nothing like that. So he had set a number, I'm only going to move if they pay me this much, and they have to pay for our relocation. They have to, all these stipulations. And they were like, deal. And I was like, well, that's a God thing. We prayed about it. And if it's going to happen, he's going to make it easy for us. And he made it so stinking easy to move here. And I don't know if Luke will ever leave.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever leave. He loves it here. They've tried to move him to Dallas. They've tried to move him to Fort Worth, Oklahoma, Midland. there ain't no way I'm going to Midland. So they've tried everything, and he just uses me as his cop out. Like, I don't think I can get my wife to go, but I love it here. I do wish there was more shopping. You know, there's things I wish that were closer, but it is a really nice, you know, tight-knit town. And I like it. You can get from one place to the other in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
if that.
yeah, right.
Yeah. So you guys have moved into San Angelo. What have you done to fill your time?
Yeah. So when I moved to Waco, I tried to find an outlet. And so I have always been the girl, I will find friends anywhere. I have never had a problem going to a bar and sitting at a bar top and having dinner by myself. Like back home in California, my husband's a homebody. He doesn't like to leave the house, and we are polar opposites. I got to get out of the house. I work from home, and so last thing I want to do is be home alone all day, all the time. And so sometimes I just got to get out of the house. So for me, like, I can find friends anywhere, and I'll go to a bar and make friends with everybody. When I moved to Waco, I joined a Facebook group. It was called the China Spring Girl Gang, and I met some girls through that. They did like a meetup once a month, and that was great, and I built really good connections there. But those connections were more like wanting to go out and party all the time. I wouldn't say they're the healthiest friendships. And I was still going to the gym. I was going to the gym 4 a.m. every day, and I felt like there was a little bit of a divide. And so when I moved to Angelo, I could not find any Facebook groups. Back in California, I was in a Facebook group. So that was like my default, find a Facebook group. And I didn't have that here. And I don't have kids, so I didn't have that outlet to make friends through children. And so I was like, well, if there's not a Facebook group, I'm going to create one. So that's what I did. I created a Facebook group called Angelo Babes, and I had invited people. I had met some people through Facebook that I had posted like, hey, I'm new here. So then I met friends of friends and added people through that page. And then I started going to the gym. I was a member of Crunch, and so I started going here, and I ended up training with Jasmine.
We love you, Jasmine.
I know, we miss you so much. And so I ended up meeting more people through her because she knew people at the gym and trainers and, you know, group fit class people. And then I just started to kind of waterfall from there. And really, I think most of my connections now are just through the gym. Yeah. And through Junior League. That was a big outlet for me, too. A coworker of mine from Georgia was like, have you ever heard of Junior League? And I was like, never heard of it. I think it's more of a Southern thing. They're everywhere. But I think it's more of a Southern thing than it is in California. And I was like, well, let me look into it. So I applied, got accepted, joined. I didn't really know. I knew they gave back to the community. I knew they did a lot of volunteer stuff, but it's very vague. Their website's very vague. But I have built some incredible relationships through that, but they're also really healthy relationships because they're women that want to give back to the community and want to do better and do different things. And so the friendships I built here in Angelo were way healthier than what I built in Waco. And I am like so grateful for both of those, you know, social outlets for me. And it's weird because I don't always intermingle. So it's almost like I have two separate, I don't say lives, but like two separate communities that I'm part of. Some of it blends. Like Jeff does a lot with Junior League through his luminosity. So some of it blends a little bit, but it's interesting because it's like two separate communities that I'm in.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Do you feel like you have to play like, I don't want to say like different personalities because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's like two different people. But like, do you feel like you almost are like two different people, like when you're in this community? No,
not at all. No, I think, you know, I have just always been so authentically me, like always. I have just always been that person. Like I am who I am. And if you don't love it, that's fine. Like I've always just been very secure in who I am and what I stand for, what my values are, my morals. And I think in the relationships I have with the community, my friends, I think it boils down to my morals and my values. And I think they're, you know, all the same. And so I never want to be in a position where I have to play a different role. I think when you have friendships that are like, if I had a group of friends that all they did was party all the time and go out and drink, I probably would have to play a little bit of a different persona maybe than I would with my friends in junior league or my friends at the gym, because my friends at the gym, they're not trying to talk about how many Jaeger bombs I had last night. I mean, does it happen? Yes. Like, do we still drink and have a good time? Of course.
Yeah.
But it's just not a normal occurrence.
Yeah.
And so I think if I were living in two different seasons of life at the same time, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think I'm in a season now where I just surround myself with people that are like-minded and have similar goals, and so I don't have to do that, which is great.
You also like to bake.
Yes.
And your cakes and cookies are so good.
Thank you. I know. I was like the weird girl who brought cookies to the gym. And I remember telling my friends, like, is this weird? Are they going to, like, cookies? Like, I'm bringing dessert to the gym. Like, that's probably not appropriate, is it? And I'm like, but we all eat cookies. Like, we can't just act like we work out and just eat broccoli all day. Like, we all eat cookies. And I remember some of my friends were like, Ashley, like, that's kind of weird. Like, I wouldn't bring cookies to the gym. Like, it's kind of like putting on a bad look. And I was like, yeah, but we're all human. You're telling me that all those people turned down cookies? I ended up bringing cookies for Valentine's Day. So like a year ago, I brought cookies for Valentine's Day just to show love to everyone at the gym, and they loved it.
Yeah. I will say, as somebody who works up there who is burning an insane amount of calories all the time, I love it when people are like, here, take this sweet treat.
Yeah. I mean, I thought like it was just my opportunity to, one, build more relationships, right? Like, the easiest way to talk to somebody you don't know is give them a cookie.
Yeah. Or a sticker.
Or a sticker, yeah. And so for me, I actually owned a bakery for 4 years. So I left corporate America, working in HR in 2019, and started with the bakery because I was going through infertility treatments. And it was really hard on me I lived outside of town and going to doctor's appointments 3 and 4 times a week. And some of these were last minute appointments. Like, I couldn't like plan them ahead of time. I'd get a call from the doctor that's like, hey, we need to do an ultrasound this afternoon. Or, hey, I need you to run and do blood work at 2:00 today. And so luckily I worked from home still. I was like one of the people that worked from home before it was cool. So there was some flexibility, but I was definitely getting shade from my employer and coworkers because I was having to take time off. And they were understanding, but I felt like it came with stipulations. Like, they were understanding to a point. And then it got to the point where the medication made me feel so crappy that I just wasn't doing the quality of work I used to. And the bakery, I was doing part-time to just help pay for fertility treatments. And I was turning down orders left and right. And they wanted me to come to vendor events and do these things. And I just couldn't take the time off to do it. And my husband was like, well, I mean, do you think you could make the same amount of money doing the bakery full time? And I'm like, probably not. But like, I could make more money than what I am making now on it. And we were in the financial situation where I could step back. And I did the bakery for 4 years full time. And it was incredible. I was featured in 2 magazines. I got Greatest Baker, one quarterfinalist of the Greatest Baker Challenge. Like, so many incredible things. I met so many online friends through the cookie. You find a hobby, like, you're going to find a community. And I found a lot of cookie friends. And then it got hard to do cookies emotionally. And so it just wasn't fun anymore. There wasn't any joy in it because after failed fertility treatment, and then eventually a miscarriage at 9 weeks, like, it was just really hard for me. I remember I had my miscarriage the Tuesday before Christmas, and obviously it's a busy season as a baker, and I remember just like falling to the ground crying because I had literally cookie orders I had to work on while I was miscarrying. And I was like sitting there, if you've never experienced a miscarriage, like, trigger warning, it's not like people don't talk about what you actually go through. I think it's because of fear of like, it's traumatizing for some people to share it, but like, I wish people would have shared with me what you actually deal with. Because I just figured I'd have a heavy period and it would be like emotionally hard, but physically not what I experienced. And so
Can you explain a little bit of what you went through?
Yeah. So, going through fertility treatments, the embryo that was transferred was a genetically sound embryo. Everything should have been fine. theoretically, right? There's always a percentage something can happen. And heard the heartbeat at 6 weeks. Everything was great. And then the HCG wasn't rising enough. So I knew like miscarriage was a concern. And then we went in at 8 weeks and there was no heartbeat. And so the doctor just said to me, you're going to probably experience some heavy bleeding, some clotting, but we're going to send you home with this bucket. And we want you, every time you urinate, to put this bucket down that has holes. It essentially looks like a strainer because we want you to catch the embryo. And I was like, oh, catch it? Like, okay. And she's like, well, we want to send it for testing because everything was genetically sound with the embryo. We want to see, was something wrong? Or do you have another condition we're not aware of that might have caused the miscarriage? And I'm like, well, of course I want to know that, right? So I remember going to the bathroom and having some bleeding, and then it felt weird, and I was like, oh, looked down, and like, when you're far enough along, you can actually see the embryonic sac. I just expected clots. Like, I thought literally I was going to just collect some clots and take it to the fertility clinic. But like, when an embryonic sac fell out, I was traumatized. Literally. I remember getting off the toilet. This is totally TMI, off the toilet and pacing my bathroom and my bedroom. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. How do I take it out of there? I had to put it in like a little cup and take it to the clinic. I'm like, how do I take it out of there? Put it in this cup and then drive an hour with it to the clinic. So I remember calling my husband just in tears, like, I don't know what to do, like just crying, like that they didn't prepare me for this. They didn't tell me this would happen. Like, I was so traumatized because I didn't know that would happen. And he was like, okay, well, do you want me to come home? Like, do you want me to drive with you there? And I was like, no, like, there's no point for you to come home, drive an hour home. I hadn't gotten ready for the day. So like, I had to like put it in the fridge, go get ready. And like, it was just so weird for me to like take, in my mind, an unborn child, you know, based on my faith and everything, that is an unborn child. And so to have that and then have to carry it to the clinic and then essentially just drop it off for them to send off for testing. But then afterwards, the amount of pain and bleeding you experience. Like, I remember people telling me, like, you're probably going to want to get diapers. And I was like, diapers? Like, adult diapers? And I was like, just for heavy bleeding? Like, and so, I mean, I just remember just sitting at the table, just getting up every hour to change my diaper, essentially, making cookies. And I had to complete these orders. And I didn't want to tell anyone that I'd experienced a miscarriage. It was right before Christmas, and people knew that we were going through fertility treatments, but I wasn't ready to share what happened. And so, yeah, so for me, I think dealing with that made the baking, it was traumatic at that point now. And so I tried to continue doing it for as long as I could. But it was just, for me, it was a reminder that I was doing this baking to help pay for my fertility treatments, and I'm still not a mom. And so I stopped baking for a long time, and I would just do orders for friends and family members, only take orders for things that would bring me joy. So if it was something that someone was like, hey, I really want these kind of cookies. So for the bakery, I baked all kinds of things, cakes, cookies, but most of my baking was decorated cookies. So the custom cookies you see at weddings and baby showers. So if someone was like, I really want these, I don't know, Taylor Swift, not a Taylor Swift fan, but if someone was like, I really want Taylor Swift cookies, and I'm like, oh, I would love to be creative and make some Taylor Swift cookies, I would take the order. But if they sent me cookies, I was like, I want Blippi cookies, and I really just didn't feel like it, just wasn't feeling it that day, I just would say, no, sorry, I can't take it. So that's what I've been doing really for a while, and then enter the gym, and it started to become less and less active, and now I don't really take orders. I mean, if you were to reach out to me and say, hey, my daughter wants cookies for her birthday, like, I would totally do it for friends. But I don't even advertise on my business page that I'm taking orders. I really just do it for fun.
They're so good, though. If you ever get the chance to try, you got to try them.
Thank you, yeah. So, I mean, I'll donate to, like, the churches and stuff like that. And I donate to the spouses who delivered cookies overseas recently. I do that every year. So it's my way to give my talent back. And maybe one day I'll be able to do cookies again, but it still is when I'm doing it to make money, that's when it's triggering to me. When I'm doing it for fun for a friend or something, or the holidays, it's different. But when I'm doing it because I want to save money for something, that it kind of triggers something in me. I don't know. But
That's okay too.
Yeah.
They might just take time.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so how many IVF treatments did you go through?
Yeah, so over the course of 8 years, I did 2 embryo retrievals, egg retrievals. Basically, they go in, give you medication to help retrieve eggs, and then everyone knows, like the little petri dish, they put the sperm with the embryo or with the blastocyst, and they hope to become embryos. The first time, we had nothing. They only extracted 8 follicles. None of them were mature or genetically sound. Second time, they got a lot, like 15 or 18. Of those, 8 were mature. 6 made it through all the stages. It's like 5 days. They have to make it through 5 days before they can send it to genetic testing. Of that, 4 of them, I think, went to genetic testing, and 2 were genetically sound. And so we did an embryo transfer in 2020, which going through that during COVID was a nightmare. Like, masks the whole time. Sometimes Luke was allowed to come in the room with me. Sometimes they weren't, especially in California. And so 2020, that's the one where we ended up having the miscarriage, and then had one other embryo frozen that we had transferred to Texas, to Austin, Texas Fertility Clinic, which is where we were doing treatments here, and had that transferred in September of 2021. And it did not end up in a viable pregnancy. So even though it was genetically sound, I never tested positive or anything like that. So it was just didn't take, which happens. And at that point was when we had to sit down, because going through that much, luckily our insurance had some fertility coverage, not a lot, but some. And we were able to budget enough to not have to go into debt outside of the last transfer. We had to put some money on a credit card for the last transfer. But we had to kind of like sit down and figure out, okay, well, it's $38,000. We have no more insurance coverage. Insurance is not going to even pay 20%. Do we go in debt? And you could do $38,000 and get nothing. I mean, we spent way over that and got nothing over the course of time. Like, do we want to do that? Like, is that what we want to do? And we just decided that's not what we wanted to do. So we decided to take a break and see what happens. So during that break, I didn't realize how much hormones plays a big role. The reason for my infertility, I guess, is a big thing to circle back to, is I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is also known as PCOS, at the age of 19. And I knew something was wrong because I got my period in 6th grade, and then I didn't get it again. And then when I did get it, it was like I spotted for 24 hours and then never again for 8 months. And so it was just weird. And everyone was like, well, you're young, you're overweight. I've been overweight my whole entire life. My mom had weight loss surgery. My aunt had weight loss surgery twice. I mean, everyone in my family was well over 300 pounds. And so I just was always overweight. And my dad's side of the family is a completely different story. They're like twigs. But I definitely got my mom's genes, and PCOS didn't make it any easier for me. And then I knew something was wrong, but the doctors I had at the time were like, you're overweight, you're young. And then the summer going into high school, like, obviously nothing changed. I was still active, eating the same things. I just gained so much weight. My acne was so bad. It was like cystic acne. It was painful. My periods were painful. I'd be out of school for like 3 days at a time when I got my periods. And everyone's like, you're overweight. You're young. Like, it's okay. Like, let that happen. You're going through puberty, all the things. And I remember thinking, like, something's not right. And I felt like my hair was thinning. I started to get facial hair. And I was like, my other friends are not dealing with stuff like this. And I could not get any support. The doctors were like, you're overweight, just eat less and exercise more. And I wasn't raised in a house that ate vegetables. We didn't exercise. And I would exercise at school, but it wasn't part of like my family unit to like go on walks and things. And so I tried everything. I was the girl in my sophomore or freshman year of high school on Jenny Craig with my mom. I mean, I've done all the things, would not lose the weight. So finally, when I got my own insurance as an adult, I was working for the Marriott at the time, and I got my own big girl insurance, and I went to a different doctor, different provider, told her what I was experiencing, and she was like, oh, I'm pretty sure you have PCOS. I was like, well, what's that? And polycystic ovarian syndrome, a lot of people think it just affects your fertility, like your ovaries, because it's in the word, but it's actually an endocrine disorder that affects your hormones. And a lot of women are insulin resistant. They deal with all sorts of things. Not a nurse, not a doctor, not a specialist by any means, but I've had to advocate for myself so much because no one would listen, and they would just tell me, eat less, move more, eat less, move more. And I'm like, but there's gotta be, I can't be the only one with this. Like, there's gotta be options, right? And the only option was birth control. I remember being 12 years old and telling them I was going through painful periods, and they were like, oh, put you on birth control. They never asked me if I was sexually active. None of that. Like, I could have been pregnant and been put on birth control. They wouldn't have even known. And then after that, it was like, once I got older, it was like, oh, we're going to put you on metformin. That'll help with insulin resistance. Oh, your acne's still not going away. Let's put you on spironolactone. And so I was all these things. Nothing was helping. And when I was 19, went to the doctor. She told me I had PCOS. She explained to me what it was, how it affects my body. And I remember her telling me it's probably going to be really difficult for you to have kids one day. Not impossible, but it's probably going to be hard. And I just knew that was my story. And I've wanted nothing more my whole entire life than to be a mom. And I was like, okay, well, if I can't have kids, I'm going to adopt. And so I remember meeting my now husband and telling him, like, hey, I have this condition, PCOS. This is what it does. He already knew, like, obviously when you're dating, like, I had facial hair. I shave my face every day, literally every day, twice a day if I'm going out. I wore extensions because my hair was thinning. Like, all these things you have to be very vulnerable about when you're meeting, dating somebody. So he knew there had something. And I was always very open about PCOS, but it's hard for people to really understand. I told him what it was, and, in typical man fashion, he says, I'm not worried about it. I think my guy's got this under control. And I was like, well, that's not really how this works.
Yeah.
But, like, I want you to at least know, because I think that's a big deal when you're deciding to spend your entire life with somebody, for them to not tell you that they might have issues getting pregnant. Like, I think it's a big thing you need to share. And if that's too hard for you, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't expect you to, I might have to go through fertility treatments. I have to do all these things. And that's a big thing to ask from someone. And he was like, I'm not worried about it. And I'm like, okay. So then we got married in 2015, and we weren't pregnant yet. And we'd been having sex not protected. He was like, okay, well, just see what the doctor says. And well, the doctor was like, you should have weight loss surgery. I think you can get pregnant that way. Well, as I mentioned, my mom had weight loss surgery. My aunt had weight loss surgery twice, all of which gained the weight back almost immediately with most of them. My aunt had weight loss surgery and has maintained a healthy lifestyle and has maintained her weight loss. But my mom couldn't get approved, went to Mexico, had it done, it was botched. Like, there was just all these things. And I'm like, I'm just not dealing with it. Because if you have weight loss surgery, and there's no jab to anyone who's had it, medically, sometimes that's what makes sense. But you have to deal with that your whole life. Your body doesn't absorb the nutrition the same. You can't eat the same things. Like, you have to deal with all these other effects. And I either have to deal with being obese my whole life, or deal with all these effects my whole life, and fight my obesity my whole life, or fight all these side effects my whole life. And for me, it was worth it to fight the obesity my whole life. So it's always going to be an uphill battle for me. I'm going to have to always, with an endocrine disorder, I'm going to have to always be in the gym. I'm always going to have to watch what I'm eating. And I would rather do that. It's kind of like a more holistic way to handle my weight than the weight loss surgery, which I think it's great for people that have had it and maintain healthy lifestyles and make changes. But it just wasn't for me. And my husband was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm in on that either, but if that's what you want to do, I'll support you. I was like, it's not what I want to do. And so I just made it my goal to really focus on a healthy lifestyle. Before we did our first transfer, I lost 25 pounds being on hormones, gain it all back. And then in 2021, when we decided to stop, I was like, I am not doing this anymore. I'm fighting back. And I made it my goal to just change my lifestyle, be in the gym, do all the things I need to do. Because if I'm not going to pay for fertility treatments, my only hope to do it naturally is to heal myself naturally. I got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And that's what had me in the gym was I'm going to have to work harder than everyone. I'm going to have to do more than everyone. And I just have to accept that's just my life. Mm-hmm. And there's things that people deal with and they have to do more and extra their whole life too. They might not have PCOS, but maybe they have diabetes or maybe they have endometriosis or whatever it is. And they have to do things differently too. And I think I had to like get out of that victim mindset of, now I have this, like, and I had to fight back. And so that's really what I've done since 2020, really since 2022, was just fight back. You know, I've lost 45 pounds and the gym now is a place that like, I see those memes that like, I remember going to the gym and like, and that's the place I went to. I think it's like, that's the place I went to be happy or something. Like now I can't be happy unless I'm at the gym. Like that is my happy place, is being able to go to the gym. I'll tell you a story and then I'll stop talking at you.
Keep going.
The other day I was having a bad day. Actually yesterday I was having a bad day. I was not having a good day. And I was like, didn't want to be at home, but I didn't want to be elsewhere. Like I just was feeling funky. And my first reaction was like, let's go to brunch. I'm going to go to brunch. And I was like, but I don't really want to go to brunch. And I don't know who I want to hang out with. Who do I want to hang out with? I don't know if I want to be around anybody. And I was like in this weird space. And then I was like, you know what? It was my rest day. And I was like, I'm going to go to the gym. I don't know how I'm going to feel better, but I'm going to go to the gym. And so I went to the gym. Ended up having a PR for lat pulls, and like it never fails the days you don't plan to be there. I ended up having a PR on the lat pulls and had a great workout. And then I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go home. I'm just feeling funky. And I was like, I'm going to go to Jimmy John's and get a sandwich, because that's like my favorite thing to eat after the gym. And so I go and get a sandwich, and I just sat in the parking lot in the quiet car. And I was like, okay. And then I went home and ended up redoing the patio, planting some flowers, and just tried to like do things I felt like would bring me joy. And it just reminded me of like in the past, if I had a bad day, I would hit up some friends. We're going to go grab drinks. Let's go do something. And it's just interesting the things I pour myself into now that my lifestyle has completely changed. By the end of the day, I felt totally content. I was happy. I felt like I had a great day. And I had to work really hard to get out of it. But the things I poured myself into were healthy things. I planted flowers. I cleaned the patio. I went to the gym. And so it's just interesting the things you do when you surround yourself with a gym. And I know people do home workouts and find other ways to be active. But I think like when the Bible talks about community, the community is not just the church. And I think so many people think of like community as your church. You got to be part of a church. And I think community is your gym. It's your run club. It's your mom's group. It's your bunco. It's, you know, whatever it is. And so I know people work out from home and do like, I just like to work out from home and do my own thing. And that's great. Whatever you're doing to keep your body healthy is amazing. But man, you're missing out on so much. Like there's a community somewhere for you. Maybe it's not Crunch.
Oh yeah.
But maybe it's TFGU. Yeah. Maybe it's Orange Theory. Maybe it, like whatever it is, Hotworks. I go to Hotworks. I have a membership there. I have a membership there. You got to find your community.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm grateful for that.
It makes your whole gym experience that much better too, when you can like dive in. And like I know a lot of people who go to the gym and they don't talk to anybody, which I get, like if that is not your thing. But man, I have grown so much just from talking. Like this podcast is even a thing because of talking in the gym.
Crunch,
yeah,
you know, like
I
think, you know, it is hard sometimes. One of my friends at the gym, he's like, Ashley, you just look so angry sometimes. Like, you just look so, like, not approachable at all. Like, you're so angry. And I'm like, I am, like, the most approachable person. I have the biggest personality. I'll talk to anyone in the entire world. But sometimes I get so I don't want to say shy or nervous at the gym, but sometimes I don't talk to people because I am nervous. And I do get shy. And that's like the only place, only 4 walls in the whole entire world I get shy is at the gym. I don't know what it is unless I know you. If I know you, completely different story. But if I don't know you, we make eye contact, I'm like, oh my gosh. So, yeah.
No, I'm the kind of person that's like, let's make eye contact. Who can I make eye contact with over there?
Yeah. No, usually someone makes eye contact with me, I immediately go to the ground. My eyes go to the ground.
So what does the gym mean to you now? Like, what is that? What is the gym for you?
The gym is just, it's part of me. Like, I get up and I brush my teeth in the morning. I take a shower. I get dressed. The gym is that. Like, I can't, like, it's, like, it doesn't even cross my mind that I would go a week without going to the gym. Like, that would literally be like going a week without brushing my teeth. Like, the gym is just part of my everyday life, my routine. I clock into work, I go to the gym. Like, I don't know, it's just like it's a non-negotiable for me. Even on the days I'm not feeling it, I still show up.
Yeah. Is there any gym goals that you're currently working on?
Not really. I was going to do an in-body scan yesterday, and then there was no one at the desk. It was Sunday, of course, so I didn't expect anyone to really be at the desk. But, and I was going to do an in-body scan to see, because last time I did one was in October. And I've been kind of loosey-goosey over the holidays and things like that. Considering fertility treatments again, and I didn't want to jump into a program and not be able to really get the results I want, because maybe I wasn't able to do the things I wanted. And so I've kind of been doing my own thing. So I would say there's not necessarily a goal in mind. I just want to stay consistent. I would love to see the scale drop. That's just why I want to do the body scan, because I know I've gained some weight since October, but I've also know I've gained some muscle. My goal really probably is more diet related than the gym. I need to be better with my diet.
Yeah.
If we're going to be real honest, my diet. I think, I'm able to maintain what I'm able to maintain because I go to the gym regularly. Super happy with the physique of my legs and the progress I'm making with my back and my shoulders. The areas I'm most insecure about are not going to change unless I fix my diet.
Yeah.
And I know it.
It goes hand in hand.
I know it. I don't love it, but I know it. Yeah. So I think that's really my goal, is to just be more intentional with my diet. Because no matter what I'm doing, life-wise, fertility treatments or not, the diet's consistent. It's not going to affect my workouts. Like, I could have a good diet. With the fertility treatments, the reason why I'm like, well, I'm considering maybe doing them again is I can't do heavy workouts. I can't lift heavy. They'll want me to scale back on my workouts some, so there's not so much stress on my body. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to go into a program and not be able to give it my all, because there's some times where I just can't do workouts, where they're like, hey, for the next 2 weeks, very limited workouts, no weightlifting, just cardio. Especially if you're doing like an embryo transfer and stuff, they don't want you to do anything that's going to want your body to get rid of it. And so I've been like on the fence of that. But they're not going to tell you like, hey, don't eat healthy because we're doing this transfer. And I do eat fairly healthy. Like, I make healthy decisions and stuff, but I could be a little bit more regimented with my diet for sure.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else you want to sprinkle in this first part?
I don't think so.
All right.
I think that's a lot.
All right.
You got to know a lot.
We did, and I thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If anybody is struggling with anything related to anything we've talked about, please reach out. We would love to help. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back soon. This episode is powered by Maximus Nutrition in San Angelo, Texas. One is located over on Sunset Drive. The other is located on Knickerbocker. If you are serious about your performance, swing by their store for top-notch supplements and other fitness-related enhancements. Head in today and level up your fitness game. Deck of Cards segment is sponsored by TFGU and Orange Theory Fitness. Now, you get to pull the first card. It is
any color?
the blue one. We start with blue,
blue
and then
one.
I'll pull on the next.
Okay, and I read it?
Yep.
What are you most grateful for?
Oh.
Do I go first?
You get to go first.
For me, I think it's my faith, my religion. I've had people ask me, like, well, when did you, like, give your life to the Lord? When did you, like, decide you wanted to be a Christian? And I don't know. I just always believed. So I think I'm most grateful for just my faith in Jesus, and I always center myself around that. And I feel like whenever things are uncertain or I don't know what's going on, like, it's my safe place. Mm-hmm. Just time with God or time with myself, open my Bible. So just the fact that I have that faith means so much to me.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I would have to say currently right now, I am most grateful for the support I have around me. There have been some like ups and downs through the last few months, like even since season 3, and I have a good family. I've got good friends around me, and I'm grateful to have them around, because there were times that, I don't know, you got less support throughout life sometimes, and so right now I've got some good support, and I'm so grateful for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's great to have friends that like know what seasons you're in and when you need them, or when maybe they need to let you kind of get through things and step in when you're in those seasons, which is great.
Yeah. All right. No, we did that one on the last episode. Let's switch it up. Okay. What time do you wake up?
Usually when my body wakes me up, only because I'll probably wake up around 6:30 every morning just without an alarm. Mm-hmm. So that's usually around the time I wake up. Even on a weekend, if I say I'm sleeping in, that's probably because I slept until 7:30.
Yeah.
So that's usually, I have the luxury where I don't have to be up super crazy early. I don't have to get super fancy for work. Mm-hmm. I usually shower, makeup, hair, and gym clothes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, most of you guys know this. I'm a very much early bird. 4:30. I was up at 4 this morning so I can make it to the gym like bright and early.
So do you just wake up, or like does your alarm go off? Like, because I remember going to the gym at 4 in the morning. I remember some days it was really harder than others. Some days it seemed impossible. But once I got up, I was fine. Do you, like, now that you've done it for so long, like, do you just wake up, or do you have to set an alarm and you still have to, like, talk yourself out of bed?
Very rarely do I ever have to talk myself out of bed. And the reason for that is most times whenever I'm getting up that early, it's because I'm looking forward to what I get to do for like the next hour. And so like most mornings it's cross stitching, and I'm working on a flower shop right now.
I saw that.
And it's so cute, but it has taken me since like October. And I've only gotten like not even 2 pages done on it, and it's 9 pages.
It's super detailed.
It is.
Super detailed.
And so it's about the only time that I ever like get to work on it, unless we're at like tennis. And so I know at least 30 minutes will get to be dumped into that, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There are some mornings where I'm like, oh, I gotta get up. But for the most part, it's like, ooh, coffee and cross stitching. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Pink card.
Okay. Let it be a good one. Wow. I'm feeling very called out by this card. Do you actively work out your core? That is one muscle group I do not ever work out. I feel like that was a God thing right there. Interesting. No, I do not work out my core. I try to be intentional about form. Mm-hmm. When I do workouts, I try and focus on my core on workouts. I know I could be focusing more. I do a lot of back squat, like squatting at the squat rack, which does take a lot of core too. But I do not isolate my core unless I'm doing a HIIT class with Jeff.
You should come work out with me.
Oh my God. I have like negative core strength. Negative core strength.
Let me get you right.
Oh my God. It is so bad. It's embarrassing. It's so bad. Because Jeff will be like, Ashley, I know how much you can squat. I know how much you can lift. Like, come on, I know you can do that. And I'm like, I can't. I can't. So that was triggering right there.
I'm sorry. Now you know to do your core work.
I know.
When I have you back on next time, I'll make sure that card gets pulled again.
I know. Right?
Oh, yeah. Core is my love language.
We know your answer. So.
That's my love language.
I feel like when you're overweight and it's going to take a long time for you to see the results from core workouts, I think it becomes something you're less likely to enjoy. I feel like if I was closer to a point where I could start to see the benefits, I would enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Now when I do it, it just seems like torture, and then I feel like there's no results.
Yeah. It's like discouraging in a way.
Yeah, but it is, I mean, there's other benefits to having core strength.
Yeah.
So
our minds are...
Yeah, I think we just correlate core workouts to abs.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
That's a loaded one.
That is.
Wow. I think for me, perfect happiness is to feel happy in your skin. Whatever that might look like for you. For me, I want to feel healthy. And for me, happy in my skin is not being out of breath, doing things that I feel like I should be able to do without being out of breath. It's not necessarily a physique. That's not, I think, being happy in my skin to me. I want to be strong. I want to be able to, when I get older, to be able to do the things that older people on average can't do. And so for me, I think happiness is being able to live a healthy life and be happy in my skin. So I think that's perfect happiness to me, is to be healthy.
Yeah. That's a great one. If you guys missed it, I branched into this question quite a bit on episode 3 with James. He has been somebody that has helped me with this question quite a bit. I am still in the belief that perfect happiness doesn't come all the time. It's actually, perfect happiness is very less likely to happen than all the other moments of minimum happy, or perfect happiness is this is it, we are in it right here. But I think it is a moment where your mind and your heart are just everything is in a great alignment right now, and it feels good. So yeah.
And I think it's hard because everyone says there's no such thing as perfection. Yeah. And perfection is so different to everyone, right?
Yeah.
What is perfection? What does perfect happiness, what deems it perfect?
Yeah.
Because what's perfect to you is not going to be perfect to me or to James or to Garrett or whoever, And so I think perfect is so subjective. And so it's interesting because it's I think culturally and socially people feel like there's no such thing as perfect. Don't strive for perfect because you don't want to fail. So I think it's hard because we want to strive for perfect happiness, but if you don't achieve that, then what happens? Are you just unhappy?
Yeah. I guess it would be what you define as okay. And maybe perfect happiness isn't the same every time you hit it either.
Right.
It's different every time. But there are moments where you're ooh, I am very, I'm in the happiest spot right here. Yeah.
Another card?
Right.
Or is that it?
Yes, green card.
Okay. Do you speak another language?
I do not.
I do not. I speak kitchen Spanish from working in restaurants. I took 3 years of Spanish and honors Spanish, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So. Yeah.
I took it in high school, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Do you do barbell squats?
Yes, ma'am.
You do. How much do you squat?
My working squat or my
Let's do both.
I'm terrible at math, so we're going to pull this up. I have to do gym math. So my working squat, basically what I start with every time I go to the gym, I set my bar up with this is 135. That's my minimum. That's, I would say, my warm-up squat. My PR is math, Ashley. Unassisted PR is 225.
And with assistance?
I think I ended up doing with assistance was 275.
Wow.
So, actually, I have a funny story about the PR. So I remember I was like, I think I can do this. And so I was adding weights, and then I added 245s, and I'm like, on each side. And I was like, I don't think I can do it by myself. I think I knew I could do it by myself. I just was fearful that, like, what if I didn't? And I was working out with my friend Kendall, and there's just no way she was going to be able to help me if I didn't. And so I know I could have stood where the bars could catch it, and I could run from out underneath it, but that was still
It's daunting.
Yeah. And I remember looking around I know so many people at the gym. Like, I remember sitting there thinking, like, there's got to be someone I know that I can ask really quick to, like, spot me. It was like the one time I look around and I don't recognize anybody. And even if I didn't know them, there's enough people that I quietly wave to or something that I would feel comfortable, because I've made eye contact with them before, like being like, hey, or people that I've seen lift heavy that I'd be like, hey, can you spot me? And there was nobody. And I was like, dang. And I was like set. I wanted to try this. And so I ended up going to the desk and asking Stuart, I was like, are you busy? I know you're working. Can you please do me a favor? I probably won't need your assistance, but I just need someone there to make me feel comfortable. I think it's a mind thing.
Yeah.
And I come over and he's like, you could do this. Like, this is a piece. I see what you lift every day. This is a piece of cake. And I was like, I know, but it's more than I've ever lifted before. And he's like, come on, you could do this. So then I remember I did it 4 times. So it's not technically a PR. I did it 4 times. And he was like, you could have kept going. And I was like, but it was hard. He's like, you could have kept going. And I was like, nah. And I'm not really comfortable doing PRs where you only do it 1 time, because I feel like I'm just pushing my body too much. I want to be able to do it where I could do it like 2 or 3 times. And so anyhow, so I did that. And then I ended up adding weight to it a different time, and I had someone there, and they just kind of like, I don't even think they really helped me up. They just kind of like were under my arms just in case.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's so good.
I love barbell squats, and I love, like, being able to go low enough, having the right form, I think is super important to me. So, yeah.
It's the one exercise I avoid.
I know. I didn't know that until I think
we talked about in Dio's episode. Yeah.
And he was like, you should try it. And you were like, no.
Even James is like, I don't do barbell squats, but I'm about to start doing them, because he's like, I bet you ask me to like teach you later on. And I was like, right now it's a no.
I don't like the front barbell squats like that. My wrists don't move that way. I don't know. I don't like it. But yeah, that and doing the hexbar.
I love the hexbar.
I love the hexbar. I love
chasing you on
and
that one.
It's so funny, because I'll be doing the hex bar, and I'll be over in the hit zone doing it, and I'll just see people like watching me. And I'm like, I get like so nervous, because I'm like, are they watching me because my form is off? Are they watching me? Like, you get like all these things in your head, and I'm like, or are they just watching me because it's a lot of weight? I'm like, or like, oh my gosh, like, and so anywho, I've gotten to the point now to add enough weight on there, I have to do the black weights instead of the ones in hit zone, because you can only add 3 of the 45s on each side before you're maxed out. So how
many 45s do you have on both sides on that?
So my PR, I can do 4 on each side.
You go, girl.
Active, like my working, I can do 2. on
Yeah.
each side. So,
Ugh.
yeah, crazy.
All right, we have time for one more pull through. We are going to go blue card.
Was it you, blue card, or me?
It's you.
Okay. What is something you've experienced that changed your life? I mean, I think having PCOS has changed my life, but I think outside of that, I've lost a lot of loved ones. Outside of a miscarriage, right, which I feel like is losing a loved one. I lost, I think we lose grandparents. Lost my mom, or not my mom, my grandma when I was 12. Ended up being baptized Catholic because that's what she always wanted me to do, and I kind of did that in her memory. Then I got older and realized I identified more with just the non-denominational Christian faith. My grandpa had dementia, and he was in a care home for a long time, and I would visit him every day. He got to the point where he couldn't feed himself. I would feed him every day. There was not a day I did not go and visit him. I was the only person he remembered their name to the day he died. And I cherish that like none other. I had to be there to help my dad. I was raised by a single dad. My mom wasn't around very much. So I had to help my dad with all that, make funeral arrangements, do all the things. And then my husband lost his brother to a car accident, and I had to wake him up and tell him that his brother passed away. Day before Christmas Eve. Wrapping presents in the middle of the night and got a phone call, and I had to go wake him up and tell him his brother died. When my grandpa passed, I had to be the one to tell my family that grandpa died, because who did they call? They called my dad. What did my dad do? He called me. Hey, let the family know. My grandma passed away when I was in 2007 when I was in high school, and who had to tell everyone grandma passed away? I did. I've always been that strong unit in my family that just has to step up and do it when no one else wants to, and just be strong when no one else can be. And helped with my brother-in-law, so my husband's brother passed away, all the arrangements, helped them find the cemetery they were going to put him at, helped with the funeral services, created the cards, did all the things. And then my brother passed away in a motorcycle accident 3 years ago, and I had to help my dad with all of that and help coordinate. He was in Alabama, my dad was in California, and I was in Texas. Well, at this time I was in California when it first happened, but having to facilitate everything with him and help my dad understand. My dad's a blue collar guy, works construction. He doesn't know what questions to ask, what to do. So I had to be there to help him through all of that. We had the services at my house. When my brother passed away, we were there when he passed and watching them try and bring him back to life, and then eventually take his last breath. That, I think, changed my life. I will never see life the same, ever. And then carrying his ashes on the airplane on the ride home. My dad had to fly home, and so I stayed after and collected his ashes and got on the airplane and carried him home. And he was big, 6 foot, big boned. He was heavy. Carrying his ashes home was a lot. And I remember the flight attendant saying, hey, we have to put all carry-ons underneath. And I just looked at her. I was like, no. And I remember she probably was like, ma'am, yes. And I was like, no. I said, I'm carrying my brother's ashes. I can't. And she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so, shortly after my brother passed away, my cousin passed away in a motorcycle accident. So, for me, I think what changed me is just realizing life is not promised. My brother was 27.
Yeah.
My cousin was 27. You lose grandparents, and you think, you're supposed to lose your grandparents, right? My husband lost his brother at 27. So it's just I'm 35. I'm so grateful to be 35. And I'll be incredibly blessed to be 40, to be 45. You know what I mean? So I think, losing people so young and having to be part of all of the arrangements and all the things, and that's changed my life. I don't see life the same after those things. Not at all. So
how could you?
you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
Like, I just think about all the things they weren't able to experience. Like, I've experienced so much since I was 27.
Yeah.
And my life is so much better in my 30s than it was in my 20s. So I can't even imagine. So that changes your life, seeing people lose it so soon.
That was going to be my mom passed away in a car accident as well. And like, it was very dramatic. Like, I had heard her, like, talk to her like the day before. It was still like not great relationship, but like, and then to get a call and be like, oh, like, your mom and sister were in a car accident and it's not good. Like, you like realize, like, in the impact of that at the time that you're like, oh, this is not good. But then, like, as time evolves, you're like, oh, like, like, my mom could have lived and done so much more. And, like, she thought she had so much more time. And she didn't. And it was all taken. So, yeah, I agree with you. Life is short and it could be taken tomorrow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You guys go follow those dreams.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. This is a great one.
Okay. I can't wait.
What is the silliest face you can make?
Oh, my gosh.
Gotta lighten the mood a little bit.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, it wasn't that, like, ironic timing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, silliest face.
All right. We'll go on the count of 3.
Do I look somewhere? You? The camera? What do I look at?
Let's go camera. That's your camera.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that. I thought it was all over here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. For some reason, like, whenever anyone does this, it makes me think of ninja. I'm like a ninja, like the ninja mask. I don't know.
All right. Last one.
Okay. Favorite athletic wear and why? I am not athletic wear bougie by any means. I have tried some stuff from Gymshark. Don't love it.
Yeah.
Don't love it. I feel like the quality is way overrated.
It's way worse than it used to be.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I am also a curvy girl. So I am like a 12, 14. I am 215 pounds. Well, I'm less than that now, but close, anywhere from 210 to 215. I'm a big girl. I got lots of muscle, and Gymshark was just not it for me. I've tried some other brands. Nothing that really, like, I tried a pair of leggings from Buff Bunny, didn't love them. I'm also very busty, so finding athletic wear to fit my boobs is, like, impossible. So I live and die by Under Armour sports bras. I've tried the She Fit ones for running because everyone swears by them. They are like wearing a corset. I cannot do it. I will wear 3 bras before I wear a She Fit bra. So Under Armour's my go-to for most things. I love Under Armour shoes. I love their sports bras. When it comes to leggings, like, I'm not bougie by any means. My favorite leggings I'm wearing right now, they're from Sam's Club. They are $9, and I love them. And then my gym shorts that you probably see me in every single time I'm working out, I have 10 pairs. They're all black. I think the brand is Jellyfish, and I get them on Amazon. And they're $19. That's awesome. They're like running shorts. I love them. I love where they sit on my body. So that's pretty much what you see me working out in all the time. But yeah, it's not super specific. Yeah.
I am a big Goodwill shopper. And so oftentimes I pick through Goodwill until I find like MVGTN. I don't know if you've heard of, it's like a lot of shorts and leggings, and I see people all the time in the gym wearing them, but I'm never one to, like, just go order a brand to, like, try it. But if I find it at Goodwill, we're going to try it.
Yeah.
And so I got a pair of MVGTNs for like $3, and they are the most compression. They stay, they don't fall. And I was like, okay, now I can order. And so, like, I'm training for High Rocks.
Yeah.
And so,
which is crazy. I can't even imagine. I follow someone else on Instagram that's also training for it, and I'm just like, oh my God.
It's not so. But our outfits are MVG TN, because I was like, They're
So
just,
good.
they stay.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like I've gone through phases. Like 99 Degrees was a brand that had leggings. I think they were really like popular. They would be at TJ Maxx all the time. Wish we had a TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
So I think I've gone through phases where I find things I really love, and maybe it's the ADHD in me, like I hyperfix on it, and that's just all I want to wear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gone through phases.
Yeah.
So.
All right, you guys, that concludes the deck of cards segment. We are going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back soon. A huge thanks to Maximus Nutrition in San Angelo, Texas for sponsoring this episode. Make sure you hop over there if you are looking to fill your performance game. They can help you with supplements, shakes, proteins, you name it. They have it and they are ready to answer your questions. So if you're looking to step up that game, Maximus Nutrition is your spot to shop. All right, you guys, we are back. Now I'm going to ask you 4 questions that I ask every single guest. And my first one is, what is your biggest struggle right now?
You think I would have like pre-thought these because you asked them on every episode, but I didn't. I think I'm in a very evolve phase of my life right now. So I think for me, like, last year was a year of doing all the things. I was in leadership with Junior League, on the Alzheimer's committee, anything and everything. Anyone was like, hey, we think you should help with this. I was all in. And this year, I'm really just trying to figure out what I want for me. So my word for the year is less. And I want to do less so I can do more for myself. And so I've picked up reading. So I think my challenge right now, which is what your question was, right? My challenge right now is not leaning into what I'm so used to doing, which is I love to help people. I love to give back. I love to do all the things. I mean, with Junior League, we do so much in the community, and I have to find myself being like, okay, do I actually have time for this? If I do this, I'm going to have to say no to other things. Like if I say yes to doing this on Saturday, I'm going to have to say no to spending some time reading on Saturday, which is what I originally planned to do. I think I'm also in a place where I'm trying to, I don't say midlife crisis, but I'm trying to figure out my, like, not who I am, but like, figure out pieces of my life. I don't know. So I'm like in this weird phase. Like I know who I am. I know who I stand for. The gym is priority. My work is priority. My food is priority. I am priority, but I think there's a lot in my life that I'm uncertain about. And I'm just trying to figure that out this year. So, yeah.
All right. What is something you've done that you are proud of?
Gosh, that's a big question too. These are hard ones.
They're good ones, though.
Proud of. I think I'm proud of myself. I think I'm just proud of my ability to not give up. I was dealt a really crappy card. I grew up in an abusive home, all the things. So when people say, like, you just don't understand, I think you just don't know everyone's story. And I think, for me, like, I've been through a lot, and it would be so easy for me to be like, well, I'm just going to do this because, like, life sucks. And I've just never given up on myself. I've gone through phases where I've maybe didn't make myself a priority, but I never gave up. And so I think I'm most proud of just not giving up on myself. Yeah.
That's so good, too.
Yeah.
Nobody said that yet.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. If you could give anybody honorable mention, who would you give honorable mention to and why?
I'm going to be cliche.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it to God. I listen to a lot of worship music when I work out, and I know that that's not everyone's jam. But for me, like, it's just sometimes what I need. Sometimes I'm listening to some Meghan Trainor too, like who knows, but God, I don't know what I would do without my faith. So, like, yeah, he's a guy. He's
good
a
one.
man. I listened to a song the other day that was, the song is called Let God. Like, I don't know. I can't figure it out, but I'm going to let God figure it out. So, yeah, I love me some Jesus.
Nobody has said that. Out of all the episodes,
Really?
nobody has said that.
Of all people, I feel like Dio would
I
say
know.
it, but you're right. I don't think
Nobody
he
has said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good answer. All right, my last question for you.
Okay.
If you could give advice to anybody listening, what is the best advice you have?
Don't give up. I think so often when you talk about like wellness, right? Fitness, being in the gym, taking care of your body, people just give up before they can get the results they want. And so I think it's important to just not give up. You're not going to hit your goals right away. It's not going to be as fast as the Instagram girlie you saw. Everyone's story is different. What they're dealing with is different. So just don't give up on yourself. It took me 2 years to lose 45 pounds. Like, everyone, I get to a place now where, like, I don't even know how to accept a compliment sometimes when someone compliments me, because I don't even recognize how far I've come because it's taken me so long. Like, I feel like when you've done it, I don't know, when it happens faster, you're like, yeah, I did that. I think when it takes a long time, like, you forget that it took you, like, oh, I guess I have done this. So just don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. If you're on a fitness journey or a wellness journey, just don't give up. Like, just keep showing up. Even if it's 5 minutes at the gym, that's 5 minutes that your heart got some activity that it wasn't going to have if you didn't show up. So just don't give up.
Lovely advice.
Thank you.
Do you have any last words before we close out?
I don't know. I've had a lot of words here today.
You have.
Oh, gosh. Just be yourself. Be authentically you.
Yeah.
I think too often people try and be someone they're not. Like, just stand up for what you believe and what you stand for. Not everyone's going to love it. Not everyone's going to like it. I'm a loudmouth. I'm a talker. I have so much personality. And it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I might have political views that are not your cup of tea. All the things. So I think just be authentically you, because there's literally nobody else like you.
Yeah.
Like, you have the opportunity to just be yourself. And I think about all the other countries that don't allow you to do that. Think about all the men and women that can't be themselves, whether it be because of their sexual orientation or because they're a man or because they're a woman or their race. Like, I live in America and I can be Ashley freaking McQueen.
Yes, you can.
So I think just be yourself.
All right, you guys, you better take that advice because it is good advice. Just be you. Make sure you download, like, and subscribe. And a special thanks to our sponsors, TFGU, Orange Theory. And don't forget to get those shakes and that protein at Maximus Nutrition. They have 3 different locations. Find us on Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, not TikTok, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And have a beautiful day, friends.